Hey, look, how you doing? I'm here to let you know that your friend feels as if you are an unsafe space and she wants to ultimately change that. And she sent you this video to be able to open up about the topic.
Are you willing to listen?
Amen. All right. We are back. And we first want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who has subscribed. Welcome to all our new subscribers. We appreciate all of the love, all the comments, the likes, the feedback that we've been receiving this week and a half. We do know that we said every week, we switched through it a little bit on y'all. So we're going to do every other Wednesday. So please be on the lookout for a new episode every other Wednesday at 8 o'clock. It will still drop at 8 o'clock.
And we appreciate everyone that has taken the time out to say, "Hey, I noticed this. Try this." Because a lot of people won't tell you. Won't be honest with you. So a lot of you guys have been honest, and we're like, "Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna switch this, or we'll change it." Oh, well, we didn't think about that. So we do appreciate you
I
for
like how you said
being
that.
honest
Being
about that.
honest.
Being honest.
That kind of goes right. She kind of just hit it right into the topic for today. So, you want me to?
You can.
So today we are going to be discussing safe spaces. Say it with me, you all. Safe spaces. And when we say a safe space, we meaning more of a safe person, a safe environment, somebody that you can confide in and be vulnerable with as a whole. We kind of want to really dive into what is a safe space, what that look like to you, what that look like to us, how to create a safe space. And I would say overall, be better for the people around you and notice when people aren't good for you.
Right.
So,
being able to learning how to attract safe people.
mm-hmm.
And the first way to attract safe people is to be a safe person yourself.
Yeah.
Because normally we think about what we need in other people, but we don't think about what we are to other people.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to start with, you want to tell them the definition of a safe space? Oh, you want me to? I tell y'all, she ain't got her glasses on. That's what that is. A place or environment in which a person or category of people can feel confident that they would not be exposed to discrimination, criticism, harassment, or any other emotional or physical harm. A lot of times we learn and we don't even realize when we're kids, we learn what safe spaces are and we learn with which ones are not so safe. So I think today what we wanted to tell you all is we created a safe space in different ways for each other, and we want to help you all think about different ways that y'all can change or you can recognize whether you are a safe space or not for another person.
Right. And one of the things I want to touch on before we go into the questions is when we were first learning to be safe for one another, we also created a space because if I have an issue with someone and I don't want to lash out or go off or whatever, I'm not going to do it here, but I will call her
Mm-hmm.
and release the
Oh yeah,
dragon
yeah.
because I can. She creates a safe space. Go ahead, let it out. So when I go back to the other person, I can have a decent conversation or
Cool,
I can
calm,
be
collective.
in a better space. So you still need to release, like when you get angry or upset, you still need to have a place to release that because you don't want to hold that in. So
Yeah, I thought you was going to that too. I think, and when we call each other, I'd be like, "Is this a safe space?"
yes,
Because if I'm calling about my man, I need to know you're not about to judge me right now. Because I'm not going to choose my words wisely. I'm going to call that man every name under the sun. Is this a safe space? Can I say what I want to say? And people don't know how important that is to be able to give your friends, your children, your parents, whoever it is, whoever, that space to just let it out. This is not the moment for you to be politically correct, for you to say everything the right way. This is your moment to just let it fall out the way you needed to fall out.
Exactly.
And I thought you was going to speak on how we used to be like, that's your judgy hat.
You got your judgy hat on.
Got your judgy hat on.
And that's how we taught each other to like back it up and be conscious of when you're judging people. Mm-hmm. You know, because we would call it out immediately. You know, in whatever situation.
And the other person had no choice but to be like, all right,
you're right. Let me take it off.
Yeah.
So, you know, just holding each other accountable and being open to that, not taking offense to it. You know when you're showing up a certain way, and if you call it out, just be like, you right.
I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Exactly. So I'll start off with the first question. What person in your circle do you know to be a safe space? Besides me, I mean, if I'm the only...
honestly, the safest space I know I have that covers everything safe for me is you. I know I can call you and have a conversation about anything, anyone, and I'm going to, number one, get your honest opinion. You're going to give me a look like, Mom, well, let me, if it's something you need to tell me about myself, or Mom, you should have looked at it like this, or you know what? No, you dead right this time. So, go back and have this conversation, or say that, or whatever. You are the safest person that I know at this time in my life.
Amen.
Yes.
Mine is a combination. And like you said, you got different people for different things. Mm-hmm. I feel like between you and Damien, and it always depend on the topic, because if I'm talking about you, I'm not gonna call you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only time you switch up a little bit. Right. If I'm talking about him, I'll call her. If I got attitude with her, I'm gonna call him. But they would be the two people that I know that I've chewed them out so much, they don't care no more. They feel like, I don't care. I'm gonna say, I've been waiting to get something off my chest. I'm waiting for this moment. So, and I love that, because that's exactly how I want you to show up. I don't want you to sugarcoat nothing for me, because I look at it as that's my opportunity to grow. I don't look at you telling me the honest truth about myself as, oh, you trying to attack me, right. Especially when I know it's coming from a place of love. I look at it more so as, dang, okay, I'm glad somebody close to me told me before somebody else had to tell me.
Right.
So it would definitely be y'all too. Definitely be y'all too.
And even like when you do vent if you vent to me about him, you get to get all the aggression or all the anger out. So now you can go back to
and
him
say it in a decent way.
Better way.
And
in a calmer way.
What I've noticed on both ends, I can talk to my mother about him and she'll give me a different perspective. And I'm like, you trying to take his side? Mm-hmm. You know, and then I can also talk to him about her and he'll be like, well, I mean, you got to look at it like this. And it always gives me a different outlook, a different perspective, or another way to think about things. I think one of the biggest conversations we had when he was kind of dissecting how anxiety looks.
Yeah.
I've never experienced it. So helping me understand how somebody with anxiety deals with it and how it may come out and show up for others. So we had a deep conversation about that one time, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that. Right. You know, but it definitely helped me out. And I knew from that point on that I would always have to ask somebody or talk to somebody or get somebody else's opinion on something, because I'm not always right. I don't always know everything, but it's always great to have that person that you can be like, let me tell you what happened, without judgment, without nothing. But once you're done, it's like, okay, you ready for me to chime in?
Exactly what I was about to say. Because after you let the person vent, you give them a look like, so was that just a listening conversation?
Yeah, that's what she said.
I always say that. Let me know so I know what
and it's funny, you'll be like, I'm not judging, but the whole time I'm going off, she like, yeah. I'm like, what? I didn't say it to him. What's the problem?
But in my head, I'm imagining this like.
And she's imagining the old me, because the old me would have let it ride.
Yeah.
And wouldn't have thought twice.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to her.
Rest in peace to her.
She arises sometimes though.
But you know what? But I think we talked about this before. That person still exists. You just learned how to control her. You learned how to help her show up in a better way, in a more efficient way. Because that angry, it's never it never really serves a purpose.
Right.
At all. So,
Makes sense.
You know.
Right.
So,
Makes sense.
You know. But yeah. You are my safe space.
Amen. Clock it.
And you know what's funny is that little video that's going around now, how people talk
They
the
doing
judgment thing.
Oh.
What's the thing that they're doing now?
Oh, when they running?
No, not them, not the suspect, but you know,
we listen
yes.
and we don't
and we've been
judge.
doing that. When I was first saw, I said, "Well, we've been doing this for years," which is that
we listen. Do you feel you are a safe space for everyone in your life?
I do. No, I do. But the problem with that is people not being honest with you about whether you are safe or not. So if I feel like I'm showing up and you just let me, or you don't bring it to my attention, that made me feel unsafe or that hurt my feelings, how will I know that I'm not being safe for you?
You're right.
Everybody, I have a very small circle, first of all, because I don't have time to deal with too many people and all they, you know. But for each person that I do deal with, I try to handle with care. I try to handle them the same way I want to be handled. But if someone out there feels like I am an unsafe place,
send her a text.
Send me a text. Or put a comment in.
Put it in the comments right below.
Let me know. I really do. I want to know if I've created an unsafe space for somebody, and let me know how to, do it better, or, I'm okay with that. So do you feel like you're a safe space?
I do.
You do?
I do feel like I'm a safe space for everyone in my life. Yeah, that's all I got for you. And if you feel otherwise, listen. It's like, nah. But I do feel, I do feel like I'm a safe space. I've asked around. I feel like, yeah, I would say that. And I do feel like if anyone feels differently, depending on what it is, I feel like we can dissect it, because some people may feel like you're not a safe space because you're too honest.
That's where I was about to go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is that me not being safe? Or is that you not being able to accept who I am at the moment? So I'm not safe for you because you really don't want to hear the truth from me, which in turn hurts your feelings.
Safe is agreeing with the way I feel, whether I'm right or wrong to some people.
Right.
That keeps them safe. But they feel unsafe when you're the person that's going to tell them, that's not
so I can see that. If somebody say I'm not a safe space because of that, I would understand, because I'm 9 times out of 10 going to give you the truth. And if that goes against what the majority is saying, then I don't know what to tell you.
Correct. Yeah.
So how do you recognize a safe space in a person? Like when you are here, or when you have friends, or when you come across people, how do you recognize that they are a safe space for you?
It takes time. It definitely do. It takes time. You got to spend time with a person and see, because some people can appear safe in the beginning, but that's like dating.
Like a representative.
It could be your representative. But time tells. 6 months have went by, and I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes you can hear it just in regular conversation, the way a person's voice is, the way they handle you when they talk to you, or just being there for you, or just showing up a certain way. But it definitely happens over time. I'm not sure if you can recognize a safe space in a person immediately.
I'm gonna answer the question. I think that everybody shows up in a certain energy when you first meet them. And I think it all depends on where you are in your spiritual journey, whether you can pick up on it or not. Some people can pick up on it immediately. I can tell by the way you might have walked through the door, by the way you spoke, your gestures, your movements, your eyeballs, everything, every movement, everything that you walked in with can really determine who you are and whether you're a safe space for me. When I walk in the door, I know that I'm coming into a place to be good for everybody. Hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? Hey, what's your name? I haven't seen. How you doing? Da-da-da. There's some people, hey y'all, immediately not safe for me. Because what's her issue? Immediately I'm thinking something. What's that? The energy is off. Me, I feel like I can recognize a safe space from the energy immediately. I only need an hour. And based on our conversation, our interaction, you're going to say something. A lot of people show you exactly who they are immediately. It's up to you to say, you know how to point it out or not. Or you know whether to say, okay, cool, that's what that is. Or if you want to be like, nah, I don't think that. It was just a bad day. Okay. You're going to see that bad day 2, 3 more times. And then you're going to realize that that person is exactly who they was when they showed up. That does not mean that they're a bad person. I always say I don't feel like there's no bad people. Everybody just got an area in their life that they need to work on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like when the way you described it, you read energy. So I do think when you come across people, you can um detect bad energy, good energy, stuff like that. But when I think of a safe space, I think of somebody that I know that's going to be loyal to me, that's going to be honest with me. All those things we've talked about that actually creates a safe space. And some of those things you don't know immediately because they may come in with a great spirit, but they may not hold your secret.
You're right. But we also look at trust differently. You don't trust people until they give you a reason for you to trust them.
I'm getting better with that.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with your method.
Yeah.
I trust people until you give me a reason not to trust you.
True.
So because of the way we look at people and how people show up, we're going to automatically feel like, nah, it takes time for me to know. And for me, I'm going to be like, nah, the energy good. You feel like not saying that when I meet you, I'm going to give you all my life business. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's that first meet and greet. I can tell a lot. You know what I mean? So for me, it ain't going to take much time.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And for certain things and for certain levels of life, there are some things that it's going to take a little time for me to get to a point where I trust that when I am having an issue with my man, I can call you and tell you. You know, I was going to say that too. Another thing that creates a safe space is that I don't care how bad I chew my mother out to my man, she'll never know about it.
Right.
And I don't care how bad I talk to her about him, he will never know. Hey D, how you doing?
Right.
And vice versa. So that also creates a safe space because I can come and vent to you how I want to, not be judged. You know what place I'm coming from. You know I really do care about him, but in this moment, I'm on 10. And vice versa. He know, oh damn, that's you on your third bitch. I never said it.
Sure you
I
did.
Never said that word.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? And it'll never be like, I can tell you what Jazz done said. It's just like she was having her day, you know what I'm saying? Y'all
I've
good.
seen people call people out.
And expose them.
So your daughter said.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, Sharkeisha! That is the worst situation to be a part of.
Yeah, you like.
I was speaking to you in confidence. And you're going to do that in front of my friend? But nah, it also creates a safe space when you know I can literally tell this person and go off and these other people, whether I could be talking about my sister, my friends, because why, you know, and y'all will never know. None of y'all will know. Right. And a lot of times to me, it's like, I love my friends. So it's not coming from a bad place, but we all have moments where it's like, I need some advice. And talking to him, I get a male perspective. You know, talking to my mother, I get a more of a grown up, more mature perspective sometimes from her. All right.
Oh, next question.
Moving on. How do you create a safe space for your children? You know, we had a little argument about this. It wasn't an argument.
Well, you go ahead now.
We had a little debate.
Yeah.
You too hot to respond.
Forgive me, y'all.
It's all right. But when she had asked me this, I personally looked at it as, The same way you create a safe space for adults, my friends, my man, is the same way I would create a safe space for my kids. I ultimately feel like you got to have a nice little balance,
right,
of ass whoopings and love. And then it looks different depending on who you talk about.
Discipline and love.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Discipline and love. But you got to be 50-50 with it. You can't be all criticize, and no love. You got to be able to say, oh, okay, it's gonna be all right, baby. You need anything from me? But then you got to be like, you showing up real nasty right now, and I don't like it. Fix your face. It got to be a nice, smooth 50-50. And that's the same with my friends. They need me. They called me. They need something. They want something. I'm there. You need to be picked up. I'm gonna be there for you. But then also when you do something you had no business doing, I'm gonna tell you was wrong, and he should have left you. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 blend.
I think it is. I agree with what you said. I guess when I think about children, and I'm thinking about it from more, I guess, a personal place, and I'm pretty sure other people will agree that when kids need to have a thing about being protected, and I'm not saying that adults don't, but I think that's one of the first things that help kids feel safe. They know who they can go to. They know who's going to protect them. They know who's not. Because when kids, we automatically feel like our parents will protect us in the midst of anything. But the moment they don't, that safe space goes away, and it's hard to come back.
And this is where the argument came in, because I feel like grown adults feel the same exact way. I want to know that we automatically want to feel some type of protection. In this friendship, I want to feel protected. Right. In this sisterhood, I want to feel protected. And the minute you go and you choose your man over me, I no longer feel like I'm protected. And now this is no longer a safe space when he's in the picture or when she come in. You're not keeping the same energy. You're not being yourself. And ultimately, because you're not being your complete, authentic self, you're not safe for me. You ain't even safe for yourself. But I feel like it's the same thing. I think a lot of times people I think people don't connect with the fact that all of us are like 7-year-olds in big people bodies. We still feel the same way we felt when we was a child. We have all been children before. So even as an adult, when I meet you and we hanging out and, I want to feel like if something pop off, you going to protect me too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you. I definitely agree. How does a safe space die?
When you kill it. I feel like it's different in different relationships, but all the same at the same time. I feel like
And I think for me, this one is more so for people that don't realize you killed the safe space. What you did no longer served, whether it was your child, your wife, your husband, your sister. It could have been a safe space at one point, but when this happened, they no longer felt safe with you.
Right.
And I know I'll say personally for me, I'll say this as a child, of course, with not feeling protected by anyone around me when I was younger, based on people showing up to protect you when you went through something very traumatic, and you automatically be like, well, why didn't my mother do anything, or why didn't my father show up for me, why didn't anybody show up? So now there's no safe space,
there's no trust,
mm-hmm. And that goes back to why it's hard for me to trust people, because that started long ago. So now for me, I walk into a situation and I have to wait to see the trust show up, or before I give trust, because I have to, scope out the scene for a while.
Scope the scenery out.
But yeah, because I know, you come in the world, you love your parents or whatever, and the minute you see something, and in your eyes, that's not a safe space. How do I feel safe? And I have all these adults around me, and this one thing took place, and nobody said. Everybody got up the next day and went on with their life.
Yeah,
that's so unsafe. So now, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? Anyway, that leads into a whole nother topic, but
it is a clear definition of what an unsafe space would look like.
Right.
And I don't think people understand how that carries into your adult life so heavy. Something can happen at 7 and you still resonate with it at 51,
and you get comfortable with it,
and you get comfortable in that.
Choose unsafe people. You date unsafe people. You befriend unsafe people, because that thing that traumatized you, everybody normalized it like it was okay, and it becomes your reality, and that's how you live after that. And then people want to know, why she keep dating people like that, or why she got all these types of friends, blah blah blah, and it resorts right back to that situation until we deal with that thing inside of us, because most people are unsafe people and choose unsafe people because they haven't went back and dealt with that child that had to live within an unsafe space, because you have to heal that space in order for you to choose better and be better.
That sounds that's good. That's good. I let her have that question. She already took it. She took care of that one. That's how it dies. To kind of piggyback off of what she said about how does a safe space die, I think if we decide that we want to help other people, we got to start letting people know that you on the edge, like you literally two Reese's Pieces away. The way you showing up and literally you got to start telling people what they're doing, because a lot of times people don't recognize themselves. I be having to preach this to homegirl over here, like you don't see you see them. Your eyeballs look that way. So a lot of times when we're showing up and we moving day to day, we see ourselves. We see other people. We don't see ourselves. Right. So it's easier for us to say what they're doing, how they showing up, the way they move. Let people know, right? The first step is to let people know how they showing up in your space. That in turns teach them how to let you know when you showing up in their space a little crazy. Now we cooking with grease.
Exactly.
Because
when you got to be able to receive it though, if you're going to give
somebody has to start it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to start it. And I tell everybody, you can do that, just not in my space. I respect my space so much. I'm a safe space for myself so much that you can't come in here and start showing up any type of way.
Right.
But we do need to resonate with the fact that I got to let these people know when they showing up the way they showing up, because they may not even know that they're doing that. So let people know. Yeah. That moves right into, how do you voice to someone that they aren't a safe space for you? It's deep. And all right.
What I've learned, just say it. Because I'm an overthinker, and it's not that I don't do it. I still overthink a lot of things. But what I would do in the past, I would sit and analyze, does this relationship really mean? Should I say it? Should I not? Just overthink the whole thing. Then I learned, just say it. What's the worst that can happen? Just say what you feel. Tell them how, how they
Mm-hmm.
made you feel, what they did, and they may say something that make you look at it differently. But that just goes to communication. Everything is around communication because a
Yeah.
lot of people won't say stuff; they'll hold it in. So I do feel like it's just more like, the other day, when I called you to talk about my me losing weight and my weight journey.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing you did was look down at my stomach and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel safe. I did not feel safe in that moment. Um, I would appreciate it, if you handle me better. Now the thing is, for me, it's funny because that don't bother me, but somebody else that may really be trying to get themselves together, and then you be like, "You been on a weight journey." Oh, I couldn't tell.
That's
I'm
just a
saying
sense of humor.
it is,
Some
but
some
somebody may
people's
take
sense of
it
humor is not a safe space for some people because everybody
exactly.
can't receive that. What I've learned is I
Mm-hmm.
only, and I think that's another thing with safe spaces because I only joke the way I joke with the people that I know can handle the way I joke
Right.
because that's my safe space. I get to authentically be me and joke around and make jokes, and I know nobody's taking it personal.
Right.
I know I can have a fat joke here or a bald head joke here or an edges joke over there, and ain't nobody going to hold no hard feelings. Now, if somebody is, I don't know about it. And I feel like as a person that respects themselves, they should let me know, like, I didn't find that funny. Ultimately, in turn, I get to choose whether I want to be in your space or not. Because I like being able to freely crack my jokes. And if you say that you wasn't in a safe space when I looked at your stomach, I don't feel safe. You big in here. I don't feel like I can defend myself. Why you worried about safe? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and if you think about it, if you can't just have the conversation, somebody made you feel unsafe, or you're not comfortable around somebody, it's one of your friends, and you feel like, I can't. You feel uncomfortable having a conversation.
send them this video.
Yeah.
So if you receive this video,
you
you
are
know
unsafe.
somebody feels like you're an unsafe person. Use us. Use us. So we're gonna have a message in here. Hey, look, how you doing? I'm here to let you know that your friend feels as if you are an unsafe space. And she wants to ultimately change that. And she sent you this video to be able to open up about the topic.
Are you willing to listen?
Amen. Send them this video. Come on down. Say no.
Yeah, because what I was gonna say too is if you already in an uncomfortable relationship, so you can't make it no more uncomfortable by having a conversation. Mm-hmm. So you might as well have it. What I found, my relationships got better after conversations. So
you know what?
They either get better or they shift out, one or the other.
I think what's so hard about letting someone know that they're in unsafe space is the initial uncomfortable conversation. One, because you feel like it's already unsafe, so I know how they're gonna react. I already know how she's gonna act if I say this. Mm-hmm. We're already projecting how they're going to act, and I understand that. I think if you first connect with making sure that you're a safe space for yourself. And when I say that, it's like you don't just allow anything to go on in your space. And I'm talking about to a T. Like you respect your space so much that people can't just show up around you any type of way. Once you do that, once you become great at that part, everything else will fall in line because everybody else is second. Everybody else is going to be easy. What? No, not. We don't need to talk though. That's it. You got to go. Everybody else becomes easy once you create that space for yourself. It shows a high level of self-love as well.
And boundaries. And people respect you more. and you will notice you stop attracting unsafe people, because unsafe people ain't gonna show up in your space because they know they can't.
They know they can't.
It's like, oh, I don't go over there because she don't play. She serious about.
She do too much.
Yeah, she do too much. She go off if I even try to creep up in her space and be unsafe. So you'll stop attracting it. But as long as you're attracting it, and y'all unsafe people, y'all know a lot of unsafe people around y'all. Check yourself, because you're probably unsafe yourself. Or you treat yourself like when people do something to you and you just be like, I'm not gonna say nothing. Why would you? That's you're unsafe. How do I trust you as my friend if you don't even take care of you? How are you gonna take care of me? And why would you put more into me than you put into yourself? You may not realize it, but you are unsafe. Because in the back of my head, I'm like, how you do this, but then you do this. That's that straddle the fence, and it leaves uncertainty. So I like certainty. I like to know. If somebody asks me something, oh no, I know for sure. Because I know how she show up for herself, and I know how she show up for me, and it's equal.
So I would say, do you have someone that you can think of that's an unsafe space for you? Right. And do you already know how, or do you know someone that's an unsafe space for you and you haven't initiated a conversation? An unsafe space meaning a 360. And in turn, are some people are as safe as they need to be? Like, we don't even have to be a whole all the way around the board. We just need to be right on this page to get done what we're trying to get done. It doesn't mean that we got to have the whole I can come to you about anything type of thing. Some people just have their levels of where you fall at in my life.
I like that part, because there are some people in my life where I don't need you to be a 360. Because what we do, or how the friendship we have, it's here anyway, and it works. Me here, you there, and that works. But if I allow you to get here, then I need more of the
honesty, the respect,
because you in my inner circle. If you on the outer circle, I'm not gonna give you but so much anyway. So I don't need you to be a safe person. I just need things to work based.
What's an example of someone? Give me an example. You go on to interviews. Mm-hmm. Give me an example of a time when you were in an unsafe space with a friend, and how did you handle it?
I'll say this. One of my unsafe space is my current best friend has a friend that doesn't like me.
We cooking with grease. I think everybody can relate to that.
So if she, and this has been going on for a minute, so it's uncomfortable for the both of us to be in the same space at the same time. But my friend, for me, I felt unsafe with her because knowing how she feels about me, because it wasn't nothing I did. She just don't like me for whatever reason. She didn't like me when she met me, which I'm glad when I met her, my daughter was there to confirm it wasn't just me.
Because I would have been like, Mom, but your energy was...
Yeah, because I know my energy. I know my energy I used to have. I could be very quiet, standoffish. I give everybody the same resting bitch face, like, don't come over here with the bullshit. But that wasn't the case. She was introduced. She just hit the swerve like, like, what's that about? But ever since then, we like, okay, I know where I stand. It's cool, whatever. But as my best friend, I felt like whenever you have like a party or you have a situation and the situation between the two of us, why would you keep putting us both in the same space at the same time? Woo. That's unsafe for me. That's unsafe for her and you. Because what do you think gonna happen here? Are you thinking, oh, eventually they're gonna be okay? Are you waiting for the explode? It was very uncomfortable, and I kept saying, putting myself in a position because of my best friend to be in this space, say, I don't really have to deal with her, long as she stay in her space or she don't do that. But when we go in each other's space, it can be a look, it can be somebody say something indirectly, which has happened, indirect conversation, but them. And I'm being a bigger person because not only am I the more mature person, I'm also older. So I'm trying to play that role too. But with anybody human, you don't get but so many times now. But then I had to think about it. Who should I be more upset with? The other friend or my best friend for even putting me in this position, because that feels unsafe. And it's not that I don't know that she cares about me or loves me, but then I also had to recognize that she's showing up for me the same way she showed up for herself, because this person is unsafe for her too.
And even in that whole situation, right, with you knowing how this person show up, how your best friend is showing up, you still continue to put yourself in a situation. So y'all all share the same dislike for yourselves, because it's almost like I'ma just go because no, I'm not. If I go anywhere, it's because I feel completely comfortable where I'm at and I'm good in the skin that I'm in. But if I gotta go somewhere and be looking and cringing and not knowing or feeling uncomfortable, I'm not going. I love myself and care about myself and my space that much that I ain't trying to waste it on no uncomfortable time. So it still always leads back to us, because we get the final say so on whether we gonna get up and put our lashes on in our shoes and actually show up to this event where we know there's people that we don't care for.
Right. And that was one of the things I had to break, because I know for a fact I started out young learning how to survive in unsafe spaces, and I became comfortable with it. So I can go into an unsafe space and you not know I feel unsafe in it. I know how to adapt.
And that could ultimately be why people don't really take you serious, because you work so well in it. Like you would say, I don't really care for this person, I'm uncomfortable. But it's like, but you come in and you know how to adapt so well. It don't. That's like that child that you feel like always gonna be good. You adapt so well. You don't mention it. You don't bring it up. It's not a big deal. It's not a trending topic, because you just come in and adapt. Nobody can see that something is really going on in this space.
Yeah, I've always been. You put me in any situation, any space, and I can adapt to it. I can become whatever I need to be to survive that situation.
And you know what I think too? Even in the way that you say it, it's almost like you say it as it's like a talent. Like, I'm good at it and I'm proud of it.
No, it's not that. It just is who I am. And when something is rooted in you, from childhood. Now, I will say this. It can be a good thing, because you're going to be in some situations where some people get in situations and don't even know how to act, don't know how to adapt. They don't know how to do, separate personal from professional. Or like when you're husband and wife, there's times we're gonna have a conversation, then in front of, we shouldn't have this conversation in front of people. I'm not gonna cuss you out, I'm not gonna embarrass you, this gonna be a side conversation. You have to know how to adapt to whatever situation you are. You got to know when to do what. And a lot of people don't have that. I may be on one extreme to where I can adapt to any situation, but some people just think they can show up the same way in every situation. And you really can't. You think you can?
It depends on what that way you showing up in as. Because if I show up as Jasmine in every situation, then I'm not saying that when I show up, I'm showing my ass. I'm saying I show up in a way where I demand respect in my space. I don't want to be nowhere that I'm uncomfortable. And I think that's also why I choose to have certain people that I want to hang out with, that I automatically.
But that's a place you had to get to, because you wasn't always like that.
No, I understand that. But when we say things like, this is who I am, it's like you resonating with it as if that's who you're going to always be, versus that's who I was.
Right. But that is who I was.
You said this is who I am.
Because it's still a part of me. If I want to turn it on, I can. If I want to turn it on and go into a space, I can. Do I choose to be better to myself? Yes. So I won't, because I want to be better to myself. But can I? Yeah, I still can.
Don't turn it on today, because I got my fire in the room. Calm down,
yeah. how we are, how I just explained being in that situation with my friend, you know, most women, most people, well, I'm gonna say people I know have found themselves in situations that they didn't want to be in at the time with their friends. But sometimes when we care about people, we will accept things and stay in friendships because it's comfortable.
Right.
It feels, it's like it feels safe because we've been doing it for so long, so we don't even recognize how unsafe it is for us.
Right. I can see that. At what point?
You didn't answer the question.
Oh, what's the question?
The one you just asked.
So why you take
me.
so long to ask it then? I'm thinking you ready to move on. The question wasn't on there. So you don't know what the question was. So we're moving on.
Have you been in that position?
Yeah, I've been in that position. No, I can't even remember how I asked the question though.
Just have you been in a position where you felt unsafe?
I said, give me an example of a time when. I think with my partner, because I'm sure some people are watching for that too. Being in a space where you feel like there's certain people in your life that I can't come to you and tell you that they did something wrong, because ultimately you're going to look at it as you got to be the bigger person. That's an unsafe space for me. So my thing is this: a lot of men feel a way about their female family members, whether it's their sister, their mother, cousin, whoever. If I voice to you how I felt disrespected or X, Y, and Z, and I don't feel like you're going to take up for me, or that security that you're looking for doesn't show up, now I feel like I'm in an unsafe relationship because you're not going to war for me. You're not going to address it. Now, what I also did, y'all, I also had to realize that everybody not me. If somebody comes to me and says, your mother was disrespectful, I'm going to be like, let me call her ass and see what she done did. I'm going to address it. But that's me. Other people are working their way to that point. I'm immediately, Mom, what you done said? And you was loud about it. You know, we got a relationship too where I can address it. I feel safe to do it. Or let's say my daughter may have felt the way about my mom, and ultimately she might not want to go to grandma and tell grandma off. I'm gonna let grandma have it. I'm letting grandma.
Oh, really?
It's like, nah. But I also had to realize that too. In my friendships, I'm trying to think of a time where I felt unsafe. Oh, I know. When my friends, I'm not gonna specify which one of you hoes, but come to me and may ask for my advice about their partners. Sometimes it can be. Now I still cross the lines and most of the time, but it can be an unsafe space to know, like, because I know how you feel about this guy, you may just very well choose him over me. And I mean in situations where if me and him get into it, or if me and him have a disagreement, where you going, who you leaving with, type of thing. That's unsafe for me because I feel as though whether wrong or right, especially when they wrong, you still gonna choose them. That's unsafe for me as your friend, because now I'm like, dang, he get to do what he want to do, and because I love you, I'm still being your friend. I'm just not that girl. No, I'll start to distance myself, but I also want to bring it to your attention. When this took place and you made this decision, can you explain to me why you made that decision? I like to understand first before I make my move, because I'm gonna make a move. But I like to understand what your perspective on the situation was before I ultimately say, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and scratch that off my Christmas list. I'm gonna go ahead and let that friendship go, because we also gotta start to resonate with the people that we need to let go of. Sometimes we hold on to friendships because the years. Sometimes we hold on to relationship because, oh, it's been 15 years and 15 years of being miserable. Right. 10 years of lies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we've been friends since middle school. Yeah, that means y'all met each other at y'all very vulnerable ages. You talking about what's that? 13 or 12? Y'all was young minded when y'all met each other.
Right.
Y'all know
it worked.
It
doesn't work now.
y'all on a whole nother level now, and it may be time to go ahead and let that go. So,
and even when you're in a space like that, you made me think about something. If you're standing there in the moment, and that was a situation, and I've seen this situation before, and you see your friend disrespect me, and you turn a blind eye to it, like it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. What do you do with that?
Because now, what's that about?
That's about understanding your friends, because they turn a blind eye to the situations that happen to them. People can't show up for you no different than they show up for themselves. And sometimes we be having these expectations on people, not realizing that you wanted me to defend you against her. I don't defend myself against her.
Exactly. So now you're sitting around, which is what I've had to do. Say, man, are we really friends when you really get down to friendship? Because I should feel completely safe with you, and in that case, I don't. So are we really friends?
Right.
Because see, for me, I'm gonna say something. I've been in that position, and I called it out when it happened. And I guess that's what I want in return. You're not going. I got two friends, and then you got an issue, some jealousy, craziness. What's your problem? And then you just tell me, well, I just feel. You feel what? You some childish shit. And I'm gonna tell you, it's childish. Grow up. Either you want to be around or you don't. Well, I hang out with you on the different when I'm not hanging out with her, but I'm not. You're not about to be causing confusion here. Right. So grow up or just stay home.
And I think
my thing is saying that.
For me, I look at this situation as which person do I feel like is wrong? That's ultimately who I let go of. Because if you show up to that person like that, I'm on my way. It's gonna be me next. So for me personally, you say this was the situation, this is how I handled this, how I handled it. I'm gonna say you was wrong. And if that's how you show up, I don't want to have nothing to do with you either. Right. Because I can pinpoint right and wrong. But I can also tell both people where you got some shit with you too, and you need to fix this, you need to work on this. Either we gonna work on it or you wanna, because I don't like the way you moved either. I don't like the way you handled it. And just because it's not me today, don't mean it won't be me next year. Right. So I need you to change that behavior altogether. A lot of times as that middleman, we don't address the part that we need to address. Because right. I'm ultimately in the middle and I need to say something. Yeah. For the protection of myself first. Hey, hello. And then for the protection of my other friend that don't deserve to be, you know what I'm saying, to be spat on. You know what word I'm all the bad energy.
All that bad energy for no
She ain't did nothing to nobody. But yeah, I just feel like one bad apple can really ruin everything. Oh, so if we can recognize that you the problem, you gotta go, baby. You gotta go. But I will first address it, let you know you cannot show up like that. And ultimately you got a decision. I had to stop hanging around him. And that works too. You know? Yeah. At what point did you realize you weren't a safe space, and what motivated you to become a safe place?
You want me to go? I think honestly what we talked about in the last episode. I knew I wasn't a safe space. Yeah. Back then, that's why we started having the sit downs, because I needed to know what was I doing wrong, or what was I doing to make y'all feel the way y'all feel. Because, see, when we think about safety, we think about, well, I protected my kids. I took care of them. I made sure I did all this. No, but
did you protect their mental health?
Mental health and their emotions. Mm-hmm. How do they feel? And that's when I knew I gotta, we're gonna have to have a sit down, because there's a disconnect there. Did I always, do all those other things? Yeah. I would sacrifice for my children in those areas, but was I willing to be emotional and mentally safe? And I wasn't. And I recognized it then, and I started then working on myself.
Ooh, clock it. So I realized that you can be so close to people and not realize how unsafe you are. Yeah. And my particular situation was with my younger sister. If anybody know me and my younger sister, we're like left cheek, right cheek, butthole in the middle, barely. Like literally thick as thieves. You can't tell us nothing when we around. Heh, what's up? But it was at a point in our lives where she had to come to me and address that I wasn't a safe space for her. And that was huge for me because I thought we was tight. And it's amazing it's amazing when you realize like the closest relationships can be going through turmoil and you not know about it. So when she finally did come to me, and have that conversation with me to tell me like there's some things that I've been going through, there's some things that happened to me, blah 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 blah, and I didn't feel comfortable even telling you about it. One, because it was almost like, if I'm getting this correct, you can help me.
I'll correct you.
It was almost like I want to say maybe judgmental. It was almost like I was her mother and she was afraid to disappoint me and tell me some of the things she's done, because back to being judgmental or expecting so much from her. And I just didn't offer like a safe space for you to come and talk to me about things like that. It was really at that moment, because what I tell people is, as much as you feel like I'm scared to tell her because I know how she is, some people you don't realize that you mean a lot to them and they will change. Mm-hmm. If you are the person that's saying it, it's like, okay, let me change it. Okay, how can I switch it up a little bit? What can I do to ultimately change how I show up so you can feel a lot safer in this space? So you can feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me about the things that you really want to have a friend to talk to about. So it was in that moment that I made a huge shift in the way that I communicate, in the way that I receive people's situations. You could be going off about your man, your sister, your brother, and I'm like, now I understand. That's not how I did it at first. The face was basically what we talked about in the last episode too. But I showed a lot on my face. I had to learn how when people are talking to me, I got this face.
Yeah, you got better. You got better.
You see
your
this
face?
the face at work.
That face right there.
I had to change it, and I don't think people understand how much body language says a lot. I was big on the body language too. Couldn't tell me nothing.
She didn't even have to say anything. As soon as you started talking to her, her
Everything.
face would go right into what she was feeling. And as soon as she do that, it would make people be like, oh,
I don't even want to tell her. And then you don't even realize how detrimental that is. So when you do find out, it's like, I got to change, or I'm going to lose people around me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lose some big people around me, not just the small crumbs. I'm talking about the loaves of bread.
Yeah.
You
not
know,
the outside,
not the butt part,
yeah.
not the butt part of the bread, but the middle.
To lose the heart.
You know,
look, like I need something. You know,
I need some nice slices. I'm gonna lose them nice slices.
Yeah, not the pieces we throw away.
Yeah, but that was my situation. I think for me, because it was my sister and it was somebody so close to me, and overall I realized like it was the way that I said things, the way that I moved, my facial expressions. It's like, okay, the motivation came from, I also got kids. Dang, I got a lot of people that's watching me, following me. I got more friends to meet. I got more people to do business with. I don't want to show up like this with everybody. No more. You know, I want to ultimately be able to be a space where people feel comfortable to come and tell me that, you know what I'm saying? They don't want. I tried to think of something off the wall. Like, you know, you want to tell somebody like, I don't know. But the secrets that we kind of keep safe and dear to our hearts, that we probably only tell my mom, or I'm gonna only tell my man, or you know, I don't want to not be that person for the closest people around me. So I really had to do a 360, and knowing that there's people watching me, there's people following me. and that I just want to be a better version of myself, it definitely motivated me to become a better person.
And what I will say is that she's, when you bring something to her attention and accept maybe that situation. I think that was one of the situations where I felt like, I'm not saying you didn't have emotions about other things that was brought up, but that one you were really emotional about. Like you went through an angry period. You went through like, because we you was like, why she ain't tell me? You was upset in that moment and the way it took place and when it took place. But
We talking about two different times. You talking about the table when you was in the house?
That they were in the house when you was about to go on the trip.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation at my job.
Oh yeah,
she came and had a conversation. That's what I'm talking about. That's the one you talking about. Yeah, I ain't talking about that time. I'm still gotta get in her. It's about that. It's like nah, I'm still holding the beef. It's like nah, but no, I ain't even.
Had a couple times she had to step to you.
And you want to know? Ultimately, she had also learned something in that, like holding all of that in, because you bringing up stuff that I'm like, why you ain't man say, or why you waiting until now? You don't want people to be able to say that to you because you decided to go this whole time without speaking on something. Now I'm the problem,
right?
So it was we learned a lot on both sides in that particular instance. But
yeah, because even I'm gonna say what I was gonna say about you in a minute, but what I said to her is, if you feel like she's showing up any kind of way and she's not being safe, why are you protecting her? What you got to lose? She already unsafe. Say what you need to say.
That was your great advice.
That's exactly what it was. And you see,
I would have said the same thing.
The conversation. I said, say it. Just you need to say it to her. I said, I can't. I need you to deliver. I can deliver it, but it needs to come from you. She needs to hear you say it. Y'all have to have the conversation. I knew it wasn't going to be comfortable, which they never are, but it was needed. But what I was going to say about you is, you are great at once something is brought to your attention, fixing it, changing, moving differently. Because I see people that I'm not even going to say can't, they won't.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. If you know you're unsafe or you're doing things to hurt people or you're a certain type of way, it's going to take me some time.
Girl.
No, what it is, you're comfortable with being who you are. And it means more to you to just stay where you are, be who you are, than it do to change and be better because you're comfortable.
Right.
You're not willing to do the work because now you got to show up better. You're going to be held accountable to being that person and you just don't want to. So you stay in your ways by choice, not because you can't help it. I don't, it's a habit. It's going to take me some time. It's going to take me 21 days to stop eating so much. No, just stop eating. I'm just saying. When I got a bag of Snickers right now. When I want to eat me a bag of Snickers, I'm going to eat them. I made juice all week. But today is the day I'm going to eat a whole bag of mini. And look, I get the mini to try to trick my brain that I'm not eating the whole big ones. But if you eat 20 minis, But I know that. Snickers, and I'm okay with that. But some people live in denial. No, it's, I've been trying. Try. Look it up. Actually learn what that means.
So, to kind of wrap it up, in order to have a safe space around you, you got to be a safe space for yourself first. You got to create that energy within yourself. And once you do that, it makes it easier for the people around you to come and talk to you, to be vulnerable with you, to trust you, and just feel comfortable being in your space all times of the day. Y'all know them people that when they call your phone, you kind of screen it because you don't know what's to come. And then there's people that call your phone that you like,
you can't wait to answer.
Hello.
You know they're a good time.
You know they're a good time. And I talk to my mom all the time about having a guaranteed good time. There are some people that I can call and say, y'all, let's go up. Let's go hang out. I know we're gonna have a good time. It's not gonna be no problems.
Right.
We're gonna have a guaranteed good time. If you are not a part of my guaranteed good time, I gotta think about it. And usually if I say I gotta think about it, I'm not going. Because I'm thinking about the fact that I got to get up, do a face, get an outfit off to maybe I might be disappointed. Right. That's too risky.
Things
I don't
might go wrong. Who coming? Who gonna be there?
Who all gonna be there? It's too risky.
Yeah.
But ultimately, create that safe space within yourself. Trust yourself. Have self-respect. Be what I usually say. Give people grace. Mm-hmm. That's what I learned to do. Give people grace and look at people as if you was in their shoes. And don't just look at them on the surface. Look at their childhood. Look at what they recently been through. Think about what their mental is at the time. I think about all of that when I'm talking to my friends. When I'm talking to them, I know how old they are at that time. I'm talking to you. She about 10 right now. I got to be fragile with her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm talking to the grown version. I can really, go blow for blow. So I would say give your friends grace, give them the opportunity to be vulnerable, to be able to tell you how they feel. And I think in turn we'll have a lot of decent relationships around here. I want people to have better female, male, mother, daughter,
just
all of that.
Relationships overall.
It can even help in the baby mother, baby father relationships. But we got to be willing to make it work. We got to be vulnerable enough. We got to be willing to say, let me listen. Let me listen to what you got to say. Let me put my feelings on the back burner real quick. You know what I mean? And let's see if we can meet a common ground. It got to be me and you against the problem.
Right. Not me and you against each other.
Exactly. And ultimately, you let me know what I need to work on, and I let you know what you need to work on. We can just flush it out together.
And one of the things I would suggest, and this is something I started doing years ago, make a list of everyone you care about, your inner circle, outer circle, whatever, and have those conversations with them and see how much honesty you get, see how much it'll help change your relationships. Now, say you got 10 people, it may be 2 that, might just be a lost cause. For me, when I make those lists and I go through and call each one of them and say what I need to say, if things don't check out, I don't carry them into the next year, and I just make peace with that. And that's family and friends. Amen. I just don't. But you will find once you say, hey, I want to talk. And you start talking about how do I make you feel? Do you feel safe with me? This is something I notice about you. Initiate the conversation. Don't be afraid to do it. And do it with no expectations, please. And know that whatever you feel about somebody else, they may also be feeling the same thing about you. So whatever it gotta be, you gotta be willing to basically take and hear things about yourself the same way you want to tell people about themselves. And just be open to it. Just go into it like, it's just a conversation, you know what? And recognize people's feelings. And then also sit back and recognize, oh, I see where you are with yourself. So what I've been expecting from you, I can't.
It's too much.
And make peace with that, because some people you can't expect certain things from because they're not in a place to give it to you. And you just got to deal with them where they are or not deal with them at all.
Amen.
That's the best I have for you.
That's the best I can give to all of you.
Can do for you.
Well, to conclude this episode, I hope that everybody was able to be able to establish whether they are a safe space, to be able to see who around them that they may not feel completely safe with, and maybe build a little bit more confidence on approaching these people and having those conversations. I know that they're not easy. These are going to be very uncomfortable conversations, but ultimately it'll be for the best. It really will be for the best. So we gonna wrap this up?
Yep, we're wrapping it up.
I think we said all we could say. So what we want you all to do is make sure you like, comment, and
subscribe.
Each and every video.
Oh, the video.
Like, comment, subscribe. Continue to support us. Share the video with anybody you feel like needs to hear this. And continue to give us feedback. We really want to know what you all think, because we're ultimately here to help you all. So goodbye, and we will see you on the next episode.
The next episode.
On the next episode.